and you focus, you swim your hardest, and can't ask for anything more than that, can you?
Exactly.
We have a tight race coming in here for first place between Miles and Jalen. St. Lucia versus Antigua. St. Lucia versus Antigua.
And it's St. Lucia with a slight edge. Head down into the finish.
And he touches the wall. St. Lucia takes it in a time of 1:13.55.
And second place, Antigua with a time of 1:30.98. Both of them within the same second.
And we have third bronze medal going to lane 5, Keyshawn Cobb of Grenada in a time of 1:21.89. And we have all of our swimmers in now. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the medal winners.
All right, so now we now transition into the 400-meter race, the longest race of the OECS Swimming Championships, heat
Correct.
1 of 10.
Swimmers will be doing 16 laps of this pool.
Oh, 16 lengths.
16 lengths. A length is 1, a lap is 2.
All right.
So we would have a mix of the girls 9 and over. So from 9 all the way up to 18 and over. From 9 all the way to 18 and over, these girls will compete within that age category from 9 to 18 and over, and then they will then be medaled within their own individual age groups.
All right, so heat 1 of the girls 9 and over 400-meter freestyle. In this heat, they actually only have the 9 to 10 age category. So in lane 2, we have Donisa Wilkinson of St. Kitts and Nevis. Lane 3, Evie Tuan Barima, forgive me if I didn't pronounce that correctly, from Grenada. Lane 4, Maya Andrew of St. Lucia. Lane 5, Kiara Hippolyte of St. Lucia.
Correct.
4 swimmers in this heat.
4 swimmers, and we will just watch them go along 16 lengths. So it's all about pacing, and it's all about
strategizing. These type of races, it's long. There's no, as you can see, the entry times between 6 to 8 minutes. That's a lot of swimming.
Correct.
It's very easy to tune your mind off and start to think about the pain.
Correct.
And not actually focus on the race at hand. Whereas with a sprint, it might be just 30 seconds, a minute.
Yep. And to our fellow Eastern Caribbean dwellers, let's say that, I think, the name, I think we always used to look back on live streams and, your name gets butchered sometimes because, we have Lucia with some French influence and Green similar to us. You have St. Martin. Not sure if it's the Dutch side or the French side that's here, but, I think, there's some laughter in it too because, you're
just trying our best.
So apologies, disclaimer alert. But back to the story we're talking about, swimming has come a long way, especially in the Eastern Caribbean, like you mentioned, 2007.
2007 for me, we went with a delegation of about 6 swimmers, and a lot of us didn't have the actual swimming attire, the proper goggles, the proper swim caps, the proper trunks, and then we know how pivotal it is to have that hydrodynamic.
Yeah. And we're training on beaches then, bro.
Exactly.
We're training at Villa Beach, we're training at Indian Bay. That's why I always encourage swimming. Swimming is a sport that everybody should be involved in. We definitely want to increase accessibility in the rural countryside and those areas, but
because as us coming from small island nations, we're completely surrounded by water. It is pivotal that you learn to swim from a very young age. It's a lot easier to learn from that age, and it's a life skill. People think it's not mandatory, but it is a life skill. And not only that, it's healthy for you.
Correct.
There's a health aspect
One of the most, I didn't say one of the most, I didn't say the most, about the sport. The sport gave us so much, bro. I think that a lot of the, we talk about muscle memory, and I think, we want this to be not just about swimming, but about sports.
Right.
Sports is something that can drive a country forward in terms of, health is wealth, I always say that. And if you can control yourself, you could push yourself to a limit every day in practice, push yourself every day to compete. You're making yourself a better human because the wall out there is not perfect, it's not balanced at all, but at the end of the day you have to be able to control yourself. And as athletes always have to be involved at that level where it's just you.
Yes.
You and your game, football, track,
whatever sport it
any
is.
sport. Just encourage all athletes out there, please just stay committed to your craft, stay consistent, stay disciplined.
And it rubs off into other aspects of your life.
Correct. You might have these opportunities to travel to different islands. You know, the sports tourism that's happening right now in St. Vincent. Just from this meet alone, 171 swimmers.
Yes. And that doesn't include the parents, the well-wishers who they want to come and support their children or their family members.
Correct. And I also want to encourage viewers as well. You know, today's a Friday, so you know there might be work for persons who are on the island of St. Vincent. But tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday as well, the competition starts at 10 a.m. and we encourage persons to come out, purchase your tickets at the gate, because one of the ways that we can increase funding for these sports is by showing support, not just online but we want to show support coming out. Revenue is generated from these meets that would then develop the swimmers more and develop athletes more. So it needs to be a teamwork, and as I always say, teamwork makes the dream work. So
certainly,
it's key. All right, so we're now at 4 minutes on the clock. Following we have one swimmer from St. Kitts, one swimmer from Grenada, and 2 swimmers from St. Lucia in lane 4 and 5.
The Lucians side by side.
Correct.
Maybe training partners.
Exactly. A lot of these swimmers, like you and I, used to be training together, and then we had to get in the pool and compete
against one another.
And we had our best races competing against each other in 1-2 in breaststroke. You know.
Yes, exactly.
And I think a lot of these swimmers come out here to leave the legacy. Leave your legacy on the sport and motivate, inspire other athletes to come through and keep growth, innovation, and longevity in the sport.
Yes. And the thing is, you mentioned something earlier about us back in the time where we used to have to swim on the beach. A lot of these swimmers, like a lot of these first timers, and I think it's important that I mention it. We have some first timers here at this event.
Correct.
First timers in Anguilla, first timers in Dominica, right? And BVI returning for the first time since 2016, right? And a lot of them may not have access to facilities like this.
Correct.
And we were once at this point. So it is important to show that swimming, you can develop the sport if you stick to it. And you believe in the swimmers, you see their potential, and you support them. So like coming out this weekend, tuning in, but particularly coming out and actually showing your support helps. It goes a long way, and people don't realize it now, but the small things add up.
Correct. And I think we have the finishing in lane 5 first in a time of 6:17:39. That is Kiara from St. Lucia taking that one. Second, we have lane 3 in a time of 6:27. So both dropping time. And then we welcome home
lane 2 of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From St. Kitts. And I think St. Kitts is a very perfect example of that actually, because St. Kitts swimming program started about, I would say, rough estimate 5 years or so ago, and St. Kitts,
they've been slowly developing, but you can see it. I
think this is the largest contingent at an OECS so far.
Exactly.
So it's all about the growth.
And I mean, they're in the early days too, just like St. Martin also. Both St. Martin and St. Kitts and Nevis is their 4th OECS, so they're very early.
And we have our finish in there. Now we're up to heat number 2 with a full slate of 6 swimmers competing to get their hand on the wall first in this second heat of the girls 9 and over 400-meter freestyle.
And as we go along the heats, we'll start to see a mixture of 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds swimming with each other.
Correct.
Because it's time-based.
And in lane 1, we have Kona Marie Monroe from Grenada, who is 10 years old. Jazelle Connor, 13, from St. Kitts. Angeline Jackson Bain from Grenada, 10. Gia Arthurs, 10 from St. Lucia. Soraya Stewart, 12 years old from Grenada. And Skylar Byron, our very own Vincent, 10 years old in
And
lane 6.
something to note for the listeners, right? So in case you hear your child or someone you know and their age isn't actually the name you see there, the way the swimming age category is listed, December 31st, whatever your age is on December 31st is the age that you take over into the next year. So, for example, let's say you were 10 years old in 2023 and December 31st, 2023, that is your age for 2024.
Correct. Correct. So you compete. We have age group championships ranging from this OECS swimming championships. Then we have the Crifter Games, which is the next level, same age group. And I mean track. Anybody who's familiar with track knows the Crifter Championship.
Exactly.
So on the swimming side, it's the same. It's age groups that are between 2 and 3 years. You compete within 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
And you go out there, you manage your expectations, you go out there, you do your best. And we used to always see that as you get older in your age group, you become more competitive in that age group because you are developing. And I think it's just all about growth. We want people to grow in the sports. We want people to grow in sports in general.
Exactly. And now that you mentioned Crifter Games, what I think we have as an advantage and we should take note of is as small island nations, we have an intimate or communal meet like this, of this stature, for the small island nations. That's like a stepping stone towards Crifter Games.
Correct.
And it ranges from the 8 and under age category, whereas Crifter starts from the 11 to 12 up till 15, 17.
Correct.
This ranges from 8 and under to 18 and over. You have 6 respective age categories, that being 8 and under, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, and the big guns at the 18 and over category.
Correct.
And what we get to appreciate with this is us as small island nations with a lot less limited resources as some of the bigger island nations, we get to compete with one another and see the progress each island is making with their swimmers, whether in terms of size or the times, the size of their contingent or the times that they drop in. And we get to use that to prepare us for the Crifter level.
Correct.
Right? So it's really important to know that although we may be limited in resources, we have an advantage in progressing with each other.
Correct. And I think it's also key to highlight the sort of cycle that athletes go through, because for track, swimming, athletes in general, and I'll keep emphasizing that swimming isn't exclusive in terms of being an athlete. Every athlete, to me, is the same,
Yes, exactly.
And so I think it's
multiple similarities in the process.
Correct. So this point in, what do we know, November of the previous year, let's call it, but November tends to be the early stages in the cycle where these athletes are putting in heavy yardage.
Yes.
They're training probably about 5,000 meters in the pool every day.
Yep.
And I think what a lot of viewers might appreciate is that swimming being a medium, let's talk a little physics, swimming being a medium, trying to get through it, you actually burn a 1-to-4 ratio as compared to running. So if you swim 1,000 meters, that's equivalent to running 4,000 meters.
Right.
So these swimmers right now swimming a 400 is equivalent to them running a 1,600 or so.
Exactly.
And so, it puts it into a sort of relativity that persons could understand the perspective of swimmers, encourages your kids to get in. And I think as we reach the 4-minute mark and we have lane 3 Grenada leading right now, that is Angeline Jackson Bain. I think it's important to highlight that, St. Vincent, this pool was developed about less than 10 years ago. And
Fully
it grew.
developed.
I think me and Nicholas and I started from that same 8 and under age group, swimming at the beach. Didn't have any pools. We'd go to Breezeville or one of those hotel pools to train with Ricky D and Alexander and Nyasha, who started off that program.
Exactly.
And as you grow, everybody starts to see that we're making it on the global stage. We started medaling in OECS. We started medaling in Crifter. And then
that's how it works. It's a stepping stone.
And this facility where we are right now is actually an old plantation house that was initially half of the width it is right now.
3
It was
lanes.
3 lanes alone, and we found it. It was swamped out, frogs, all sorts of things you could think about, and you know, it just took a team effort. Um, Mr. Andrew Cadogan was one of those who really took it upon himself, and you know, as my father, I really appreciate that too. You know, I had to give a shout out there because we wouldn't have made it, and I wouldn't have made it in this sport if it wasn't for persons seeing the potential. You understand? I think we have so much potential in St. Vincent that if we just work together, we'll get it done. We have in lane 3 touching first. That is Angeline Jackson Bain in a time of 5:40. It's a big drop, Nick.
Yeah, it's a big drop.
It's a big drop. And you can see she takes her cap off and everything, so you know she's tired from that one. And second,
lane 5. Lane 5 of Grenada, Soraya Stewart.
followed by lane 4 in a 6:07, and lane 1 closely behind in 6:07 as well. And we have our final 2 swimmers. We have Skylar coming in from St. Vincent, and we have Giselle Connor coming in as well from St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you, swimmers. Thank you very much. Spectators, a reminder, please, to keep it down for the start, please, because the swimmers need to hear the start clearly, particularly those out in the
We're now moving on to heat number 3 of 10.
Now, meet announcer is doing some housekeeping. As persons might be familiar with, you have to be quiet for the start, and we always encourage that. Our meet announcer today is the president of the St. Vincent The Grenadines Olympic Committee, Mr. Stephen Joachim. We have heat 3.
Right, in heat number 3, we have in lane 1 from Grenada, Natalie Escobar. Lane 2 from St. Lucia, Tammy Pulte. From lane 3 from Antigua, Scylla Wiltshire. Lane 4 from Grenada, Faith Watson. Lane 5 from St. Lucia, Caitlin Holder. And in lane 6, rounding out the heat from St. Kitts and Nevis, Tija Scal Mills. And we're seeing her in lane number 3, 15-year-old from Antigua, Scylla Wiltshire, taking it out really quickly in the early stages of the 400 meter.
There's a notebook with a pen there. And you can hear the crowd picking it up. As you have seen so far, they're getting faster as we go. So we started off with heat 1. There are 10 heats of the girls, 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. We are now at heat 3. So we will definitely be seeing progress in terms of time. Swimmers will be getting faster as we go through. And we will keep tracking. In the final heat, we actually have a few Olympians representing Grenada, Olympians from St. Vincent as well. And we also have persons who attending college currently.
Yes.
So it's very key to note that we have a very wide spectrum of talent that's going to be showcased here at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center on the southeast side of St. Vincent.
And that really that's a testament to trust in the small island nations when it comes to swimming, because we didn't have that many athletes in college, swimming in college, and then much less being Olympians and then coming back and representing at the OECS Swimming Championships. So it really is a testament to really trusting the process and helping and supporting these athletes as they chase their dreams through sports.
Correct. And I think that we just want to, push that sort of developmental aspect to it. You're not gonna achieve in life. You don't achieve anything overnight. You have to put in the hours, you have to put in the dedication, put in the discipline. And sports teaches us these values that take us through life. And seeing that highlighted from the 8 and under age group all the way up, it provides a community of support and unity. And I think that's what sports is key on. Sports is unity. Sports is all about bringing together. Even though we compete towards a common goal.
Exactly.
And on the rules, on the strict. We have the officials. Let's give a special shout out to those volunteers who would have come out today, and they're doing the timekeeping, They're doing the marshalling, they're doing the turn judging and the stroke judging and the starting and the refereeing. I know these are all volunteer capacities right now, so the more involvement we get within the sport and in sports in general is the more that we can generate revenue, and revenue from ticket sales is one of the #1 drivers of revenue in sports. So you see the connection there. So right now we have heat 3 in the water. We have
Lane 3, Antigua
leading
Sela
out.
Wiltshire.
15 years old, competing against other 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds. We have 2 from St. Lucia in this heat. We have 2 from Grenada. We have 1 from Antigua, and we have 1 from St. Kitts and Nevis. That is Sela Wiltshire leading right now. It becomes difficult to sort of differentiate who's in front as well, because everybody is gonna be a mixed bunch.
Right.
And
Because it
fastest
mixes mixture of ages and what's not, you'd have people a bit faster. Wiltshire with that 6-week leg kick.
Oh, and that's our finishing.
Wow. That is a very fast time.
Let's wait for confirmation from the scoreboard, but that is looking like a very, very, very. Oh, she actually was not finished
She
yet.
was not finished.
She was not finished as yet.
Because that may have been up there.
I saw the time and I was like, wow. But she may not have been finished as yet, so I think she might have about 1.
But over there in lane 1, Natalie Escobar kicking. Finishing very strong.
And for those of the viewers who can see on the camera, the crowd representing all of the different islands, and it gets very lively. So I really do encourage persons to come out tonight. Tonight will be the opening ceremony, so please come out, support, come and experience the atmosphere that sports can bring.
Come and see some fast swimming, some relays, a lot of action happening tonight, tomorrow, whole weekend.
Yep.
Be there.
We have finishing first. That was lane 3, Sela. She finished in a time of 5:28. And then we had lane 1, Natalie Escobar finishing second. Then we just had her finish in lane 5. That is Caitlin Holder from St. Lucia finishing third. And she is followed in lane 4 by Anaya George from lane 4, yes, Faith Watson, my bad, from Grenada. Then we have Tammy Pulte finishing from St. Lucia in lane 2. And we will encourage our final swimmer from lane 6 into the wall. So like we mentioned, this would be the longest race of the meet. So I know swimming, for us swimming up and down a black line, it isn't the most entertaining, but it is, we want to put respect on the sport, because to be doing that, it takes a certain grit.
Yes.
And this is the longest race of this championships happening this Friday morning on the beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our home. And we encourage lane 6, Teja Mills from St. Kitts. She finishes. And we move on to heat 4 of 10.
And like Shane said earlier, as we progress through the heats, the times get faster. We see a lot more white water, a lot more legs kicking as we head closer towards the final heats.
In Heat 4, we have Elizabeth Sukumaran from Antigua. She's 10 from lane 2. Eliza Rose Benjamin from Grenada. Skylar Connor is in lane 3 from St. Kitts and Nevis. Then we have 11-year-old Anaya George in lane 4 from St. Lucia. Then we have 10-year-old Alyssa Watkins in lane 5 from Antigua. And we have 20-year-old Anissa Lewis from Antigua in lane 6. And like Nick mentioned just now, you know, we will start to see much more, let's say, action from the swimmers in terms of their leg kick and their tempo. Because, you know, swimming is all about technique, but you always have to incorporate technique with your tempo. You have to, when you get to the biggest level, you're counting strokes per lap. You know, you're counting, you're breathing on both sides. So there's so much room to grow within the sport from a technical aspect. And we haven't even scratched the surface of potential in the Eastern Caribbean or the Caribbean on a whole, because now in the Caribbean we started to see so much talent reaching the world stage. Like, shout out to swimmers from Trinidad, Cayman Islands, right? Dylan Carter, Jordan Crooks, who is one of the top national collegiate level swimmers right now for the University of Tennessee. And he's now actually joined by a lot more swimmers from the Caribbean, because, you know, you create a pipeline. Coaches start to see that, okay, this swimmer from the Caribbean, he's performing well, so why not bring more people from where he's from, you know, encourage that sort of thing. So I think once we start setting, we already have been setting a trend and paving the way.
Right, and we're seeing that a lot more from the bigger nations in the Caribbean, and I mean, it's slowly starting to transition into the OECS swimmers. So we're doing it step by step, whether it be 1%, then 2, at some point we'll reach 10. We're gonna flood the international stage with OECS swimmers once we keep supporting.
Correct. It's all about the support. And like I mentioned, we still encourage persons, please, if you're on the island, come out, support through the purchasing of a ticket. Come and enjoy the atmosphere. There's a lot of space here tonight. We'd have our opening ceremony where the teams would march by the pool.
171 athletes.
171 athletes.
Combined athletes.
9 countries from the OECS, and it's the OECS member states as well as OECS associate states. So, you know, you start to see that sort of camaraderie that you want to encourage, not just in the sports world, but OECS as an organization. You know, there's much more integration within our society. I keep saying that the Caribbean is getting smaller. You know, the regional integration is definitely being seen. And we have here, back to back, we have lane 3, Skylar Connor, and we have Eliza Rose Benjamin, who just took a slight edge in lane 2. And they're two 12-year-olds actually, so they will be competing within the same age group. So it's good to have them side by side.
And for those who are unfamiliar with the age categories, there's a point system, right? And so these two, now that you mentioned they're both 12, they would be very familiar and trying with each other and trying to get the edge over them. So first place would be getting 9 points, second would be getting 7 points, and it trickles down from third place 6, fourth 5 points, fifth 4, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how the points allocation is for, well, per age group. Correct. And then with relays, which we will start to see them from tonight, so make sure you don't miss out on that. The relays are worth double the points. Very exciting action. So yes, these two swimmers in lane 2 and lane 3 would be very familiar with each other.
Correct. And like you mentioned, the relays tonight would be one of the highlights, because we had so much memories made from those relays. You suit up with your brothers and, well, your brothers or sisters respectively. And actually this year and for the last few years we've had mixed relays, so 2 male, 2 female as well. So it definitely is one of the marquee events of OECS. Yes. You know, country competing against country.
For bragging rights, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a competition. You know, you want your country to prevail. Correct. As much as there's camaraderie, bragging rights exist too.
And like you mentioned, the point system now, for knowledge, it accumulates. So each swimmer accumulates points for the team. So, like you mentioned, first player receiving 9 points, that goes towards the team score. So at
Right.
the end of the meet, and I guess at the end of the day, we'll keep viewers updated as to how the team scores are looking. So it becomes much more competitive Saturday, Sunday when you're crunching the numbers. You're saying like, okay, you win this race and we go up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
it really is key to encourage.
And with that, it is important to note that if you have an age group that's stacked to it, like, before I even get into that, we just had a finish here from lane 2. From lane 2, from Grenada, Eliza Rose Benjamin, and followed closely by lane 3, Skylar Connor. First place, the time was 5:16.73. I wouldn't say as closely, but second place, 5:28.93. And third place from St. Lucia, Maurice
Anaya
Ingles.
George.
Oh, sorry, Anaya George. I'm looking at the wrong heat.
Correct. And now we're on to the heat where we will see
Heat 5. Heat number 5 of 10. Right, so in the water, heat number 5, lane 1, Alexandra Bristol of St. Lucia. Lane number 2, Maggie Watson of Grenada. Lane number 3, Kimberly Warner of Antigua. Lane number 4, Maurice Inglis from St. Lucia. Lane number 5, Zena Brathwaite of St. Lucia. And lane number 6, from Antigua, Alasia Liddy.
So now this is now heat 5. So
we're at the
about
halfway point.
Halfway through our girls 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. So if you tuned in or just tuned in, this is the girls 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. This is heat 5 of 10 heats. The heats get faster as we go on, and they will then sort through the results and award medals within each age category.
All right.
So these swimmers are just doing their best right now and hoping that they top the age group.
Exactly. And going back to what I was saying in terms of the points, if you have a stacked age category, let's say age group 9 to 10, where you have 4 swimmers, so you're only permitted 4 swimmers per age category. I think 18 and over is allowed 2, but I may be wrong with that one. But if you have only 2 swimmers are allowed points to score points. So if you're in the unfortunate situation where someone from your country, well, your top 3 is filled by just your particular country. So let's say Antigua gets 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Unfortunately, the points from 3rd place will be awarded to the country that follows. So if they come 4th place, then yes, the next best. So that's the unfortunate case with the pointing system.
Definitely. And I mean, I guess it does incorporate some sort of level in terms of, we want to encourage those who might be less developed, let's say, or
right.
You want to make sure that you have a objective system in place.
Yeah.
Where, because some countries, like for example those who are now here for the first time, only have 6 athletes.
That's very true.
They have 7 athletes. So we want to allow them that level playing field, because they might not enter 3, 4 athletes inside that age group. So at least you give them that sort of strength.
That's very true. Right. So for those listening, and if someone is coming 3rd, but whatever position they may come, and they have 2 other athletes from their country finishing ahead of them, you may be a bit confused with their points tally. So that's just a bit of heads up and knowledge.
Correct. So we have out in the lead right now, that is Kimberly Warner from Antigua. She's 18 years old, and she's actually followed closely alongside her country mates from Antigua. Lane 6, she's 12 years old, Alasia Liddy. So we have Antigua taking the lead in 1st and 2nd. And you can hear the crowd starting to pick up now as well. You can hear the cowbells, you can hear the horns. Kimberly starting to exert some dominance on the field. That's Kimberly Warner from Antigua. And then we have a close battle between the St. Lucians actually for third in this heat. Lane 1, lane 4, and lane 5. And then they're followed behind by lane 2 from Grenada, Maggie Watson. So we're starting to see our older swimmers get into the mix. These are swimmers who will be racking up about 25,000 meters weekly. And I know Antigua has a very strong development program right now in terms of, helping the sort of longevity in the sport from the grassroots level, showing them the commitment from the get-go. It's not easy, it's a very direct relation between how much training you put in and the results that are reflected. So a lot of the swimmers that we see actually winning medals are objectively the swimmers that might have been or would have been working the hardest in that age group.
Very true. Very true. And strong finish coming in here by lane 3 of Antigua. Kimberly Warner, followed closely by her teammate of Antigua, Alasia Liddy.
Correct. And that's a 5:17 for Kimberly, taking approximately 18 seconds off of her PB.
We're seeing a lot of time drops here. These swimmers clearly have been putting in the work.
We're up on the blocks with heat 6 of 10. Swimmers called back.
So something important to note. The start of a race, it's so important. Like, as you heard, there was a long hold, and these swimmers, their attentiveness and awareness, it needs to be key. Just in case there may be a longer pause than usual, and you don't end up false starting.
Correct. It's all about reaction time. You want to stay. You can't, if you budge after you're on your marks, that's a disqualification. So,
and that's points taken away from you individually, but also your team. More importantly, your team.
correct.
And I mean, there are tight margins in this sport.
Because in 2023 we actually had Antigua and Barbuda winning, and Grenada finishing second.
And if for those who were there, I was present. It was initially awarded as a tie.
Correct. Correct.
But then they discovered that there were points that needed to be awarded for Antigua.
Misallocated.
Right.
And Antigua would have also won in 2022. And for our local viewers, St. Vincent would have placed third in 2023, and also when we hosted in 2019. So, there's always room for stepping up there. But as you would have seen in that last heat, Antigua don't play, bro.
Antigua ain't playing
Antigua
at all.
don't play.
They said they're here to defend their championship.
Correct. Antigua don't play. So we would see what this year is, and
Has in
also
store
to
for
note,
us.
that the athletes compete within each age group for an individual age group championship.
Right.
So, for us growing up through the sport, we would always be looking at those persons lined up next to us within that age group, and we'd be like, boy, our time now.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
It's not easy at all.
You have to be balanced. There
are many events, and that's something important to note. You need to be versatile. If you want to become the overall winner, you need to be versatile. There are a number of events, ranging from freestyle to breaststroke. A lot of people don't like breaststroke, but then you also have the individual medley, and people need to realize that breaststroke is key when you're swimming an individual medley. It's the slowest of the strokes, and if you can catch up time in the slowest event, then I mean, you're dropping time right there.
And those who may be new to the sport, there are 4 strokes in swimming. We have freestyle or front crawl, which is you know what all of us sort of grew up doing in the sea,
Yes.
and you jump off the dock and you
It's
just freestyling. It basically is just
exactly.
freestyle because you're just doing what you feel
You're
like,
doing exactly what you're
just
doing.
trying to make it back. So it's freestyle front crawl.
And what
And
it's what comes to us naturally, even
correct.
though I mean swimming isn't necessarily a natural thing
It isn't
for us as humans, but
correct.
what comes to us quickest is the front crawl.
Right. And then after the front crawl, we also have the backstroke, and backstroke is actually, let's say, the reverse. So you swimmers are on their back,
Yeah.
and they're doing the same rotations in the arms and the
Exactly.
same flutter kick, we call it, in
Right.
their legs. And so it's just a very
And then but then
similar.
you would see butterfly and breaststroke have a bit of similarities in that you're right in that you have your arms and your legs are moving simultaneously in comparison to the other
Correct.
two where
Correct.
it's one after the other.
Correct.
You have to the way the rules. Your hands have to touch the wall simultaneously, or there's a disqualification. So all of that's important to note.
Yeah, and I think throughout the weekend, we definitely want to keep viewers in the loop in terms of the knowledge, the technical knowledge behind the sport, because I think the more understanding we
Position with a time of 4:52.68.
And let's also note that Ellie, Sarah, and Kenise are in the same age group. So you would see some
See a lot
shaking
more
up
of them.
there.
A lot more of them
And
competing.
now we have the big group,
The final heat.
the fastest one seeded for the 400 freestyle. Let's be quiet for the start. Lane 1, we have Anika Otway from Grenada. Lane 2, we have 15-year-old Madison Macmillan from Antigua. Lane 3, we have Olympian Tilly Collymore out of Grenada at just 16 years old. We have in lane 4, Bianca Mitchell from Antigua, who has represented them on the world stage many times. And then in lane 5, we have our very own Tokyo Olympian Maya De Freitas, who is 18 years old, representing St. Vincent in lane 5. And representing Grenada in lane 6 is our close friend Gabrielle Hyson from Grenada. So we have a 15 and 16-year-old here in lane 2 and 3, competing within the same age group. And then we have the 18 and over category actually in lanes 1, 4, 5, and 6. So there's going to be some medals distributed here for sure, and we can see what the times are looking like.
And as we can see, it's getting out to an early lead. Tilly Collymore, the recently participant in the Paris Olympic Games, taking it out, showing her Olympic stature.
Correct. Exerting some early dominance on this field. She has now completed 125 meters of 400 meters. She's followed closely behind in lane 2 by Madison Macmillan, who is also in her age group. Tilly flips at the 150. And you can hear the stand start to get a lot more rowdy because they know that the points are crucial right now. Tilly is representing Grenada, who was second last year, and Madison is representing Antigua, who was fourth. So, 9 points versus 7 points right now.
And this is what I love about OECS, the
Listen
atmosphere.
Listen to that atmosphere.
You can't ask for any better. And there's really not many competitions that are like it. This energy. Yes, you may have people cheering on the sidelines, but this energy, it's natural. It's our culture.
And I just want to say a good morning to all those locked in all across the globe, whether it be within the Eastern Caribbean, wherever you're viewing us from. We appreciate you tuning in, and for those who are viewing from local, we encourage you to come out, support, come out and experience that ambience, that atmosphere. Tonight, like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we have the opening ceremony, but we also have the relays. And the relays are one of those that you really you can't even hear yourself speak sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
You just going based on
Energy.
vibes and energy.
The energy is up. Our terminology, the energy is up, and that's what you love. You love that in sports. You get the athletes hyped.
Fully active right now.
We run off of adrenaline. We run off of tuning our minds into what race we have coming up. And when you bring that energy for us, we get going.
Correct. We feed off of supporters. So come out, bring your cowbell for St. Vincent, bring your horn. You know, just like how we had CONCACAF Nations League at Arnorsville the other day. Like, we want to see that replicated across the board in sports. Like, let's show athletes that, you know, we see them. And I know Nicholas and I can speak from experience that it goes a long way having people support you.
Right.
And sports is one of those things that we can get together and get behind each other. Now we have that battle, we're heating up now, I think, coming towards the finish. And listen to the crowd, bring them home.
Tilly, as her cap falls off, as she's determined to get her hands on the wall. Cap falling off, added resistance. Down by the Antiguan. Madison Macmillan, but she gets her hands on the wall first. Tilly Collymore from Grenada with a 4:28.90, beating her entry time.
And then we have the battle for 18 and over, heating up now, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see who takes it.
It goes right in that order.
4,
for
5,
third place.
and 6 respectively. So Bianca Mitchell likely takes gold in the forward freestyle for the 18 and over category.
No, Tilly. Oh, yes.
Tilly is 15 and over, so Tilly would take 15 to 17 gold. And we have the final finisher in lane 1, Anika Otway from Grenada. Excitement, Nick.
Excitement. Some very fast swimming, and now we move into the boys category. Boys 9 and over, 400 meter freestyle, heat 1 of 11. So here is featured some 9 to 10 swimmers. In lane number 2, we have from Grenada, Ethan Gunpot. Lane number 3, from St. Lucia, Carrie Ellibox. And then lane 4, rounding out heat 1, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our very own Saj Caesar.
Correct. And I think it's especially to note here, we finished the girls 9 and over, now we're into the boys 9 and over. Yeah. And like we mentioned before, we will be seeding from heat 1 to heat 11. So here we have those younger swimmers, for example, our own Saj Caesar, who is up and coming talent in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and has a long way to go.
Right. A very long way to go.
We can, as a people, we can be excited about the talent that we have right now on the ground.
Because it's important to know that Taj is in his first year in the 9 and over category. So this would be his first year competing
against the big boys.
In the big boys in the 400 meter freestyle.
Yep. So the fact that Saj is here putting in his best effort, along with Kyrie and Ethan, it's just a testament to you focus on yourself, you focus on your lane, and you just swim your best, because Saj being and Kyrie and Ethan being younger swimmers, 400s might not be their forte right away.
Exactly.
You know, they're developing that aerobic capacity, they're developing that sort of level to the sport. And I think that once we encourage that development, there's no way to lose there. There's no way to lose there.
Right. So, 9 and 10. All the ages in the OECS career. And a long way to go. 400 freestyle, they get in the hardest race. This is how I love it. I love when you get the hardest ones out of the way. It prepares you for the events that you'll enjoy doing.
We always call it the tester race. You know, you get the heat, you get to test out where you are in terms of fitness.
Exactly.
You get to set targets, because like we mentioned, it's all about, for each swimmer, it's all about achieving personal best times. You want to go out there and just do your best.
Right.
So we keep an eye on the clock, but Saj, for example, is seated with a 7:05, and Ethan also a 7:06, and Kyrie a 6:45. And so every time they race this event, they are trying to shave time off.
And that's what it's all about. And when the thing about it with swimming, when you drop time in these type of events, it makes you so much more efficient in the quicker or shorter distances. And it allows you to be fitter in those races. You get to be more strategical with it. You don't think so much about pain because these are the ones that pains you the most sometimes, right?
Correct.
And here we see in Saj picking up his legs, his leg kick.
Correct. So Saj is now ahead of Kyrie Lybox, who's a year older.
And we have our leader in lane 2, Ethan Gunpot.
Correct. And it's important to note as well that, you know, for us coming through the sport, especially OECS, like some of our closest friends are from these events. Like,
Yes, and that's the lovely thing about it. You make lifelong relationships and friendships with people you meet here. You meet them in 8 and under, 9 to 10, no matter which age category you meet them. It's the people. These are the people you tend to form really good friendships with.
yep. And now for us, for example, being athletes who are now on more of an entrepreneurial path, let's say, you know, these connections that we have within the OECS,
Right.
you know, it's a testament to the development of the region because a lot of these persons we would love to become business partners with.
Exactly.
And
Partnerships,
and
collaborations.
correct, collaboration at the top.
So sports allows you to get that connectivity within intra-regional connectivity through sports, and that's a brilliant thing. And through that you then add in the professional aspect of it.
Yep. It's all a process. And I think we as people of the Caribbean, the more patience we can have with the sports, it's not going to happen overnight. You know, it takes time for these athletes to develop. You know, you just have to keep support. All you have to do is be there to support us, you know, like, you know, we had parents and they have been the ones who just, they didn't say, oh, go out there and get a medal. No,
Yes, exactly.
it was more so go out there, do your best. We support you. We will provide for you.
And the culture that we have,
Correct.
culture that we have in terms of our parents and things. Oh, we are very supportive. We can be very supportive,
Yep.
and it's just for us to really come together and do it as a collective.
Correct.
Because
No.
we love to see each other succeed.
Yep. And like I said, you know, just having the friendships outside of this after, you know, you compete in the pool, and after the race, you shaking hands, your sportsmanship, you know that this person who just competed against me is somebody who puts in the same hours, or maybe if I win, you know, I might feel, you know, but at the same time, it's a mutual sort of respect across the board. So Ethan here exerting his dominance on the field in lane 2.
And Sergeant Carey, Ellie Box, going at it for that second and third spot. Both of them exchanging positions every few laps.
Yep. Now we have Kyrie sort of closing the gap on Ethan actually.
So it seems that Carey has a strategy to his race at such a young age. He held
look
back
at that
in the
leg
early
kick.
stages.
Look at that leg kick.
A lot of white water. That's what your coach should be pushing.
For sure. And Ethan takes it from Kyrie. Ethan in a time of...
Oh, I don't think the scoreboard got that
Scoreboard
correct.
has no accurate reflection right now, but that is Ethan who takes it, and I think that would be personal best for all swimmers who competed.
Heat 2.
Saj as well would have dropped a significant amount of time, so, you know, being in his home arena, it's definitely great to see him drop at least, the scoreboard says about 30 seconds. So, you know, there's so much room for these athletes to continue to develop themselves, set targets, and just hustle hard towards them every day. Now we have heat 2 of 11 in the boys 9 and over 400 freestyle. In lane 2 we have 10-year-old Grayson Burrell from St. Kitts and Nevis. In lane 3, Mateo Thomas from Grenada. In lane 4, Mark Mitchell from Grenada. And in lane 5, Tiadrian Truss from St. Kitts and Nevis. So we have 2 Kittitians and we have 2 greens in this race, and we already see Mark Mitchell, who is actually the most elder swimmer in this race at 13 years old. He is now in the lead for this 400 freestyle. For those of you who might be joining us now, we are in the boys 9 and over 400 freestyle. That is 16 lengths of the pool. One length is 25 meters. And so in this event, the only event at OECS that will be swum with multiple age groups competing together, we will see that as the swimmers compete to achieve their best times, it will then be sorted out by the officials, and medals will be awarded based on the top times within each age category.
Right.
You want to go over the age categories one more time? So we have the 8 and under age category, we have the 9 to 10 age category, we have 11 to 12, then 13 to 14, 15 to 17 follows, and then we have 18 and over age category. So that spectrum is definitely going to be something to watch for the next weekend.
Exactly. 6 respective age categories. For those who aren't aware, you have 8 and under, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, and lastly 18 and over. And then separated, obviously, by their respective genders.
Correct. So now we see Mark Mitchell leading in lane 4. He is in the 13 to 14 age category, and the other swimmers around him are in the 9 to 10 age category. So there's a lot to sift through as the races go on, but similar to track, you know, we seed our lanes according to speed, but in swimming we create what you say a spearheaded sort of heat, where you have the fastest swimmers who are seated in the middle. So lane 3 would be the fastest seeded swimmer for each race that each heat that we watch throughout this weekend. And we get lane 3, lane 4, then lane 2, lane 5, lane 1, and finally lane 6 would be the slowest seeded time in that race. That doesn't mean that that's the outcome of the results, but based on the seeding.
As we call it in swimming, outside smoke.
Outside smoke, outside killers. And I think once you have a lane, like even at the Carifta level, bro, when we would have finals, you know, you're just trying to get a lane. Once you have a lane, you have a chance.
Yes.
Once you have a lane, you have a chance.
It's all about who gets their hand on the wall first. Every chance is an opportunity.
Correct.
And every opportunity is a chance to get your hand on the wall first.
Indeed. So we have Mark from Grenada. We have Mateo as well in lane 3 from Grenada. And then we have the Kittitians on the outside, Grayson and Tiadrian, competing in the 4th OECS Swimming Championships.
St. Kitts
and Nevis, the 4th one. And like we mentioned, there's 171 swimmers from 9 different OECS territories here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the land of the blessed. And I think it's truly a blessing to be here alongside you, Nick.
Blessing.
To give back and to continue developing sports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because sports is a way, bro, a way for us to help the younger generation.
Exactly.
No matter where you're from, no matter how far we have to travel, we all come together for sports. And I think we spoke about earlier, but once we support, we encourage persons to come out, you know, purchase tickets, come out and enjoy, because that ticket goes directly into a revenue stream that then helps these athletes develop. Exactly. So, for example, St. Kitts and Nevis in this race right now, they train, or they started training at beaches, And what they did is that they had platforms out in the middle of the ocean, and they had a 25 yard or 25-meter space where the athletes had lanes, but they train in the ocean. So that's not too much cost to develop. You know, you once you have partnerships, corporate entities in the countries coming on board, seeing these opportunities for these athletes to grow, then you know we just encourage teamwork.
Exactly. It's all a process. It's all a process, really.
Correct.
And like we mentioned earlier, we've been there. We didn't always have this facility, and it's a beautiful and picturesque facility. How many facilities in the world can you look back and see islands, look out and see the ocean?
We have Beckway directly in our line of sight. Then we have Mustique, Bally Sobataway as well.
And this evening session, when the evening session starts and the sun starts to set, you'll see how lovely the sky would be looking.
Yep.
Complementing the already scenic background.
Land will be blessed because for us, like training, like we mentioned, this facility is new to the sporting landscape. Swimming is new to the sporting landscape. We are some of the first persons to get those opportunities, and now we want to give back those opportunities. Just like we have Mateo just finishing, and Mark would have finished as well in a time of 6:02. So that is a personal best for Mark and a personal best for Mateo as well. Now we have our competition swimmers finishing closely behind, and we encourage them along.
This is really a testament to their development, these type of races. And I'm very proud to see them putting in the effort at such young ages of 9 and 10.
And that's now 6:41.70 for Grayson in lane 2. And we have Tiadrian finishing up in lane 5. Great effort from those swimmers.
Now moving on to heat number 3 of 11.
As we wait for the officials here to get the race going. Okay, they're ready.
Heat number 3 in lane number 1 from Grenada, Patrick Dowden. Lane number 2 from Antigua, Zane Williams. In lane number 3 from Lucia, Nathan Lewis. Lane number 4 also from St. Lucia, Dylan Corcoran. Lane number 5 also from St. Lucia, Shamar James. And lastly, also rounding out the heat, also from St. Lucia, Tyler Dantes.
Correct. And apologies once again if you're joining us from across the diaspora. You know, for example, our Lucians here, Dylan. We have 4 St. Lucians here in this race. Nathan, Dylan, Shema, and Tyler. And they're accompanied by 1 Antiguan Zane and 1 Grenadian Patrick in lane 1. So now we have Shema James from St. Lucia, who is in the 15 to 17 age group. He is starting to express himself in this first half of the race.
And pull away a bit from the rest of the field. But we have 4 Lucians representing in this field, so a lot of familiar faces with each other. They may be in the same club, we don't know, but they may be familiar with each other's training methods or racing methods. And 1 member from Antigua, Zane Williams, and 1 from Grenada, Patrick Dowden. And I assume Patrick Dowden may be the brother of Sarah Dowden, who we seen earlier.
Correct. So there's a lot of familiar links that we would make here throughout the championships, you know. And we mentioned earlier, you know, swimming is a sport that it's essential, you know. Humans aren't necessarily designed to swim.
Exactly.
We have to learn to swim, but once you learn to swim, you put in your body through a full walkout,
Full workout.
a full walkout that it pays, you know, at this age now where we're now able to have this blessing of commenting on the athletes. We know we still reap the benefits of being athletes
Yes,
because we might not be competing right now, but cardiovascular
exactly.
system, these sort of
It does
things.
so
So
much for you.
that's why we really want to encourage persons to log in, share the live. Let's get persons knowledgeable of these opportunities for our young Vincentians and our young West Indians on a whole, OECS nationals. And I think that it takes time, but in the next 10 years or so, we'll be talking about some huge developments in the sport of swimming and in sports in general in the Caribbean because it's an untapped market. We have sports tourism, like we mentioned, 170 swimmers earlier. And there's also the parents, the families who are coming to support, the well-wishers. We want them to feel like if, you know, they come into an island that we treat, Vinci treat people like our
Yeah,
own.
yeah.
Like I
Vince's
have
home.
people telling me yesterday they feel like if they're home in St. Lucia, they feel like if they're in Grenada right now because, you know, we all have the same history, we all have the
Exactly.
same backgrounds, and it just brings a warm feeling to you knowing that you have brothers and sisters there who are on the same road as you,
Yep.
and
And
it's just about
it
development.
feels like you're leaving home to go back home.
Correct. But with the sports tourism, for example, as we see Shamar continuing, and he's followed closely with Nathan. But the sports tourism, like hotel rooms, are being occupied by all of these teams. You know, the catering, the restaurants that have to eat from this. We have the broadcast crew who is here as well. Like, you know, there's so much
Yeah,
areas that get touched from sports that we just have to create that system where we are working together one and also thinking about longevity, how we grow the sports,
right.
how we develop the infrastructures, how we, you know, bring these things together slowly but
Exactly.
surely. And I think that's key.
Very much so.
Now we have our four Lucians, our Antiguan and our Grenadian here at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center on the land of the blessed. St. Lucia, the Helen of the West,
Gem of the Antilles.
but we are the best. Yep. So we have the swimmers finishing up, I think, the final 100 or 50. So just a few more lengths to tell the picture here. But
I
we've
see
seen a little competition here now between
two Lucians.
Shamar and Nathan Lewis. Nathan, who is 11, and Shamar, who is 16 years old.
Shamar is trying to hold off Nathan, but Nathan is coming for that top spot.
And you can hear the supporters in the stands with their horns.
Horns, cowbells.
And we see Antigua represented well in the stands. We see St. Lucia represented well in the stands, but
All the tiny flags.
and we have Shamar taking it from Nathan. Shamar in a time of 5:36 and Nathan in a time of 5:37. So those are two big PBs, personal bests for both swimmers. And if I'm not wrong, Nathan is actually Vincentian lineage as well. Dawson Lewis. He used to coach football, and he used to play football as well. So I think that is his legacy, leaving a mark on the pool there.
We're now moving on to heat number 4. Heat number 4, also a stacked heat. All right, in heat number 4, lane number 1, Austin Williams from St. Kitts and Nevis. In lane number 2, Henri Pemberton from St. Kitts and Nevis. Lane number 3 from Grenada, Caleb Williams. Lane number 4, Olympian, Troy Nisbet from St. Kitts and Nevis. Lane number 5, Nazanu Chiverton from St. Kitts and Nevis. And lastly, rounding out the heat from St. Lucia, DeAndre Edwin. So, like I just mentioned, we have another Olympian, our first male Olympian to
14 years old.
14 years old, representing the Paris 2024 Olympic Games in the men's 50-meter freestyle for St. Kitts and Nevis, lane number 4.
And I think this is also another prime example of the opportunities that sports brings to the Caribbean, because, you know, a lot of swimming, it might be on a level that isn't as substantial as those like Australia and the US, who have all of the facilities and the infrastructure and the resources. But, you know, we have governing bodies like World Aquatics who afford these universality opportunities where every country who is represented at the Olympics can send one male, one female athlete to represent them, and that's the top male, top female athlete for that country. So it's a testament.
It's a testament because it allows you to get exposure, experience. These are the things that give you perspective, right? You don't get perspective without experience, and these things mold you as an individual and as a sports individual. And these are things you can carry back to your country and help with the overall development. People will start to look up to you. I mean, being an Olympian, it carries some heavy weight. So people want to be like you. People want to know, what is it that I can do to be like an Olympian? So being an Olympian at 14 years old, he has a very high ceiling.
And I think as well, like you mentioned, it's all about that sort of motivation for the next generation. You know, we might not be the fastest swimmers out there right now, but I promise you this, there's swimmers in Baga, there's swimmers in Beckway, there's swimmers in Georgetown. Like, there's all these different communities that, you know, we just need to tap into that talent. It comes with support and development, but
and
it's a process.
The same thing applies to St. Kitts and Nevis. There will be young ones from different communities who may just be going to the beach, having their fun, doing whatever, and being like, okay, I know Troy, I've heard of Troy, I go to school with Troy, and I want to be like that. How can I be the next Olympian? How could I do this when I get older?
Correct. So, and not to get it twisted though, it is a lot of hard work. It's a hard work, and you know, and it's reflected in how we operate. You know, we operate like some, you know, just some. You just want to show people that I work hard. So this is the icing on the cake for them. Competing now is barely anything, because they would have put in the hours of training. They're waking up at 5 o'clock every morning, most of them, to training. Some of them who are in college, and like ourselves who are Olympians, we would have been training twice a day. We would have been training 2 hours in the morning, then we lifting, then we're going back to the pool in the afternoon. Then you have to put in your nutrition, you have to put in your therapy, you have to put in, you know, so.
A lot of hard hours. Discipline.
And so we have
in lane number 3,
Caleb Williams from Grenada,
followed by the Kittitians.
We actually have 4 Kittitians in this race, so big up to any Kittitians logged in right now. Represented well in this heat of the boys 9 and over 400 meter freestyle.
And you could see over there in lane 6, the lone Lucian in this heat, putting in a good swim.
Correct. It's vibes here in the land of the blessed. Please, if you're here, come out and support tonight. Tonight we have the opening ceremony. We also have the 100-meter breaststroke. We have the 50-meter breaststroke for the 9 to 10. We also have the 100-meter backstroke. So these are also faster races. These are shorter races. So there's a lot more excitement involved. You know, you getting to see splash and dash in the medley relay as well after the opening ceremony tonight. So,
and you know, we all love a relay.
Correct.
We all love a good relay.
Relays is what we live for. We live for that. You know, it's something about, it's just pride. You know, you stepping up. Like for us, we step up for St. Vincent,
and bragging rights.
Nobody could test.
Bragging rights.
Nobody could test. You cannot test. So it's just we. That's the sort of energy that sports gives. You have to be
Exactly.
humble. You humble because you put in hard
Hard
work.
work.
The training
Right.
defeats you.
And even after that, I mean, you may put in a lot of hard work to go to a competition and not perform
Correct.
near the level that you expected, right? Life can be humbling. So you stay humble, you be patient, and you work hard, keep your head down, and focus on your lane only, and you will achieve whatever results you're looking out for.
So we have lane 3 Caleb finishing in a time of 5:20.22. That is a new personal best for Caleb by about 17 seconds.
And we have a close race coming down here, looking like lane 6,
Lane
the
6.
outside smoke
That's
from
the
St.
lone
Lucia,
Lucian.
followed by the Olympian Troy Nisbet from St. Kitts and his fellow counterparts finishing from St. Kitts and
Shout out
Nevis.
to these swimmers completing 16 lengths of this pool. Now we're on to heat 5 of 11 heats in the boys 9 and over. So for those locked on, we have 6 more heats in this morning session, and the afternoon session with the opening ceremony starts at 5 p.m. So be here from 5 p.m.
Heat number 5.
We have Caden Calderon from St. Lucia in lane 1. We have from St. Vincent our very own Kagri Williams in lane 2. In lane 3 we have from Antigua Nyrick West. In lane 4 we have Tevin Duncan Grappy from Grenada. In lane 5 we have Christopher Walter from Antigua and his teammate in lane 6, Mukazo Lindsay from Antigua in lane 6. So 3 Antiguans, 1 Greens, 1 Vinci, and 1 Lucian in this race.
And as you can tell, the speed is starting to pick up here.
Correct. And important to note as well, the 3 swimmers in lane 1, 2, and 3 are in the same age group, so they are competing for points right now and competing for medals in that age group.
Right.
And we have Kagri or Vincentian there as well. And we're seeing a lot of support from Antigua and St. Lucia, but we need to see Vinci representing right now. We need to see people come out for Vinci. We need to see people come out and waving their flags and showing that, when you come to the ground, you had to put in some work to compete on the ground.
Exactly. So come out and support. We know Vinci pride, Vinci to the bone. So we need to show it.
Yep. So we have a nice line of them, lane 1 to 4, evenly split right now. We have in lane 4 that is in the 15 to 17 age group, that's Tevin Duncan Grappy. And he is competing to his left right now with 11 to 12. And then on lane 5 and 6, we have 2 9 to 10 swimmers. So these swimmers are out there to do their best. And we just have to do the part of cheering them on, showing them that they have the support, and they do the rest. Just listen to that crowd.
And the lovely Vinci Soka in the background.
Correct. Big up to Skinny Fabulous.
Anyway,
You just can't beat West Indian vibes, bro. You cannot beat West Indian vibes.
it is different.
Now we have them flipping together, lane 2 and 3. That's Kagri going up against Nyrick. If you're on the live, cheer them on. They can hear you. I promise you, from the comfort of your room, your office, they could hear you. They could feel you. It's energy that we work on, So the more energy we put out into the world, good energy. Kagri looking like he's gonna flip forward. So that's Vinci representing strong in this race. followed closely by Antigua.
And then Grenada in third.
Grenada in third.
As you can see, these swimmers, they don't want to get left behind. They're staying right up with each other. Neck and neck competition. Lane 1 is adding himself into the mix. This looks like it's going to be a very close one down to the wire.
Down to the wire. Now they're going to flip, and you're going to see a change in the leg kick as they try to bring it home as strong as possible. Let's see, they're competing. As athletes, you compete. You don't want to be beat right now.
We're in the last 100 meters, 4 lengths remaining. Who is going to make that first move?
These three in this line are in the 11 to 12 age category, so direct competition, and you can see it reflected. The parents cheering, the horns, cowbells.
And for all we know, this might be the 3 lineup for the weekend.
Medals. Oh, correct. Some of the top swimmers in the 11 to 12 swimmers. I mean, the 11 to 12 age group.
I am seeing some 11, 12
and
we
have some more to come.
Preceding heats. So.
But like we said, these athletes are focused on what's directly in front of them.
Right.
The race that they are in right now.
And we're now down to the last 50 meters.
And we have St. Lucia taking a slight lead. It's Caden Calderon.
Followed by Antigua.
So Caden is looking to kick at the last and bring it home for St. Lucia.
Caden, followed by Nyrick and Kagri.
Kagri's
making a move.
Kagri's leg kick.
It's going to be a close
Nyrick's
one.
leg kick.
Very close, down to the wire. Caden, Kagri,
hold on. Is Kagri going to take it?
Kagri taking over.
Kagri's coming.
It looks like it's
home
going to be.
Home tough. Kagri takes
Kagri
it.
Williams in front of his whole crowd.
5:18, 10 seconds dropped for Kagri. Followed by Caden in second. Followed by Nyrick in third.
Some massive
all
time drops.
PBs. All personal best.
Some massive time drops. And that's what we love to see. Improvements is what makes you a better athlete.
Correct.
That's what these athletes live for, to see their times drop when they look up at the scoreboard.
Yep. So we're feeling the energy building up here at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center on the southeast side of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now we're at heat 6 of the boys 9 and over 400 meter freestyle.
Heat number 6 in lane 1 from St. Martin.
Keld Vandermeer. I'm sorry, Keld, if we butchered that one.
In lane number 2 from Grenada, Jaziel Francis. And lane number 3 from St. Lucia, Maxime Lario. In lane number 4, also from St. Lucia, Aaron Charles. Lane number 5 from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Keone Deschamps. And rounding out the heat from Antigua, Malik Josephs in lane number 6.
So we have one Vinci representing in this race. We have 2 Lucians, one from Grenada,
one from
St.
Antigua,
Martin, and one from Antigua.
As we look at this race, Grenada's in first. Jaziel Francis, a very smooth technique. Very little splash in his technique.
And we will see that more and more as we get into the more developed swimmers. You know, it's about efficiency. You're trying to move forward.
Hydrodynamic.
Correct. You have to eliminate the outside drag. You need to eliminate any excessive movements.
Very little resistance in his stroke.
Correct.
You're almost swimming like that drill that we know as fingertip drag. High elbows.
Everything moving forward.
Exactly.
Because, you know, like I keep saying, sports, it's reflective across the board. We all have different rules. We abide by different mediums we compete in. But, you know, there's always that mindset of, you know, move it forward.
Exactly.
Move it forward.
Exactly.
And in swimming, it's no different. You know, you go in between walls and you're just moving it forward.
Because at the end of the day, you're racing a clock. And when you're racing that clock, you want to reach to the other end or wherever the finishing point is as quickly as you can and as efficiently as you can in the process.
That's correct. So we have in lane 2, Jaziel Francis taking an early command here from Grenada. He competes in the 13 to 14 age category. And there's also one other 13 to 14 in this race in lane 4 right next to him. So you see the 13 to 14 athletes together, and then you would see the 11 to 12 athletes following closely behind. And one of those 11 to 12 athletes is our very own Keone Deschong out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So over the weekend, we want viewers, we want supporters to get familiar with the caps. The caps that these swimmers wear represents where they're from. So you will see St. Lucia represented in the blue with their flag. Grenada has a white cap with the Grenada flag. Antigua with a black cap and the Antiguan flag. St. Vincent with yellow. St. Martin with white as well as their flag. And we want to keep highlighting these things so that persons get more knowledge on the sport of swimming. And you know, it just paves the way forward.
Right. So essentially we are at the halfway point of, well, of the race, but also the halfway point of the 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. So the heats are getting progressively faster. The times, as you can see on the scoreboard, will be faster than the preceding heats.
This is now heat 6 of 11. So from heat 6, we have every heat gets faster as we go. So in the last heat, we actually, from what I see here on our sheet, we have 3 Olympians competing in the last heat of this event.
Yes,
to
so
come in approximately 20 to
that's
30 minutes.
something to look forward to.
So
Very
share
late.
the live, get people on board. Let's showcase this on our home turf in here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the land of the blessed.
Possibly some record-breaking performances.
Correct. So we still have the race going between Aaron Charles and Jaziel Francis, lane 2 and lane 4 in the 13 to 14 category. And the race immediately behind that is between Keone Deschong and Keld from St. Martin.
I believe this is the last 50 meters.
We're starting to see the leg kick pick up. Jaziel hasn't passed up his lead yet.
But it looks like another race where there will be time drop. No one in this heat is entered with a time under 5 minutes. Oh, looking like they'll go a bit over 5 minutes. It seems like some of these swimmers, I've experienced that actually, where anyways, Jaziel finishing first with a 5:03. I've experienced that personally where I miscounted.
Yeah,
We've seen that happen on a couple of occasions.
Especially the longer races. This is the 400 is the longest race here at OECS, but there's the 800, there's the 1500 sometimes that we have to swim regionally or locally. And you know,
sometimes it's a bit challenging to keep up while trying to compete itself and outdo your competition while remembering how many laps or lengths you've completed.
Correct.
We're now moving on to heat number 7 of 11.
Quiet for the start, please. Thank you. Quiet for the start.
And in heat 7, we have off lane 1, Jaden Zhu from St. Lucia. In lane 2, Ethan Chufuk from Grenada. Lane 3, Pepin Vreden. It's Dutch, so I'm apologizing, Pepin. From lane 3. Lane 4 from Grenada, Malon Patterson. Lane 5 from Antigua, Zahid Derrick. And lane 6, Jaden Hamilton, our own homegrown talent from here, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're seeing a much more even distribution across the beginning of this race, and those who have that aerobic capacity and those also who have the best strategy.
All right, and from heat 7 onwards, we're seeing a lot more sub 5 minute entries, so a lot quicker heats to come.
Correct. And that's lane 3 flipping first, Pepin from St. Martin.
And you see, when you're subbing that 5-minute marker, that's where you see a lot more even splitting throughout your hundreds. Some may negative split, but a lot more even splitting where you can see they've been doing their aerobic training, trying to hit certain target times in training, and then applying the same thing in their race.
Yep. And you can also see based on how the heats are seeded, like we said, lane 3 is the fastest seeded lane, lane 4 is the second fastest. So when you get into these races where swimmers are competing more frequently, the PBs are more up to date, more likely, then you start to see that sort of formation start, or you might have some shifting because of competition, and you know, it's a beautiful thing to watch. You can see some of our Olympians lining up on the pool deck right now. And now we're in heat 7 of 11 in the boys 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. Once again, as the races come to a close in this morning session of the first day of the 32nd Oecs Swimming Championships here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we want to encourage persons to share the broadcast, share among your friends, family, and those who are local and able to come out and support. This is in Shrewsbury Aquatic Center, right off of Canash Beach. You know, we want you to be here from 5 p.m. this afternoon for the opening ceremony where the teams will be showcasing their athletes. You know, we have small contingents like Anguilla, who has 6 athletes here. We have BVI with 7 athletes. We have Dominica, who only have 3 athletes here. And then bigger teams like Grenada, St. Lucia, who have 34 athletes, along with Antigua, St. Vincent with 28 athletes, and St. Martin with 10 athletes. So come out today 5 p.m. We have entertainment. We have some very stellar acts coming up tonight for the entertainment segment. So, you know, be here to see some of our best performers. And I think that it promises to be an evening of excitement this Friday evening. Finish work, you finish school, invite your kids to come out, you know, bring them out on a trip. We have a bar fully stocked. We have entertainment in terms of the crowd is loud and lively.
The environment.
It's just, this is what we live for. This is sports. Sports is life.
Come and see some action as we get back into the live action. Yep, we have from St. Martin, Pepin
in lane 3.
Finishing off, coming to the end, this last 25 as he flips on the far end, bringing it home, trying to get a best time, trying to put himself in the best position to get that 9 points. Let's see what his time is going to be. Holding on to this heat comfortably. Looking like a 4:35. 4:35.1, and based on the reaction from his fellow St. Martin,
it's a big drop.
It's a big drop.
17 seconds.
Maybe a national
and look at this
record.
finish. We have a race between St. Lucia, Grenada, Antigua, and Antigua takes it from St. Lucia and Grenada. Then we have our very own Vincentian, and then finally the Grenadian to bring together the heat 7 of the boys 9 and over 400 meter freestyle.
St. Martin were definitely happy with that one.
Some points on the board.
Quiet for the start, please.
Heat number 8 in lane number 1 from Antigua, Alessandro Bazzoni. Also from Antigua, lane number 2, Jair Smith. Also from Antigua, his teammate Esperit Shaw in lane number 3. In lane number 4 from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Matthew Balla. Lane number 5 from St. Lucia, Noah Darville. And lastly, in lane number 6 from Antigua, Jamie Tranter. And the action is picking up here. Action is picking up in this heat number 8.
Active.
the early stages, it's Jair Smith from Antigua, followed closely by the Lucian Noah Darville. And then in the middle of the pool, you have lane 3 and 4, lane 3 Esprit Shaw and Matthew Ballard, Vincentian in his home pool.
And like we mentioned, there are 4 different strokes in swimming, and here we are seeing live the freestyle event and the longest freestyle event that we would see this weekend at the OECS Swimming Championships. And each athlete, as much as we try to be as balanced as possible as athletes within strokes and like trying to do our strokes to the best, but you know, everybody has their own niche, everybody has their own area of full focus, and a lot of these athletes will be competing against each other for the weekend in different events, and the results will be different for different strokes, for different, so it really is a atmosphere of what's to come, like what can we really put down here in St. Vincent the Grenadines for the 32nd Oecs Swimming Championships. In a year where sports has been highlighted and magnified to a different level I don't think we've seen across the Caribbean. Shout out to Julian Alfred, for example, just from St. Lucia, right, our sister island, winning St. Lucia's first gold medal at the Olympics. And I think that's a testament to track and field development in the Caribbean. You know, we had Shafika as well representing, and Handel and Shafika making it to the Olympic finals. So there's definitely growth across the board, and we need to keep pushing these agendas. We need to keep encouraging persons to support. Please come out, share the live. Let's get people to see how sports can change lives, because a lot of these athletes are coming here on their first regional trip. You know, a lot of these athletes, this is the first time they're traveling for the national team, so there's so much nerves, there's so much tension, but then you have some experienced Olympians who come in and just they just come to put points on the board for the team.
And you get to witness that, and these are the kind of thing that inspire them. So you need to come and support them. Come and support them. Just seeing these Olympic athletes showcase what they do best. It's really a testament to the hard work and effort that they put in to get to that level. And they also got that support provided for them to get to that point. So similarly, we need to do it for our young guns. Like I made reference to earlier at the start of the meet, I remember my first OECS, I was 7. I mean, I don't see anyone here in beach pants, but I was in beach pants at my first OECS. My pants was falling off every time I dove into the pool. I was coming dead last in every single race. But it's all a process, and you must start somewhere.
And look at you now, bro, sitting down here as a Olympian from Rio. And that would have been 9 years after your first OECS.
Yes.
You so it's really sports is something that
there's something. It just goes to show you that I was able despite the limited resources, I was able the exposure and experience to competing at an OECS swimming championship and getting the support. I saw the support of the Grenadians coming out at that meet, despite them having a very small facility, and seeing people come out and the big guns coming out and showcasing their talent allowed me to develop. And that's how we can help each other develop. So come and support. As we finish,
listen to that crowd, Nick. Listen to that crowd.
Very loud and energetic as we finish heat number
St. Lucia takes it. That is Noah Darville, brother of Tristan Darville, actually, who is now competing in the US.
Yes.
In the US system.
So following in his brother's footsteps, Noah Darville put some points on the board for St. Lucia.
Then we have lane 3, second, 4:37. That is Esprit Shaw from Antigua. And then third in that heat was lane 1, Alessandro from Antigua.
Alessandro seems quite happy with that race. Moving on to heat number 9.
Our final 3 heats of the morning session. Now in lane 1 of heat 9, the boys 9 and over 400-meter freestyle. In lane 1, we have our very own Vincentian Seth Byron, who is 15 years old. Lane 2, 13-year-old from Grenada, Jacob Collymore. Lane 3, Janebi Benoit from Grenada. In lane 4, Ruben Edwards from Antigua. Lane 5, Ethan Hazel in the 15 to 17 age group from St. Lucia. And his teammate in lane 6 right next to him is
the same
Carrick
age category.
Charles from St. Lucia. They seem to be evenly distributed so far.
As you can see, the Lucians swimming neck and neck with each other, the Grenadians swimming neck and neck with each other. Who knows? This may be what they look like in training.
The first 100 is complete. 3 more 100s to go.
As they pace themselves and strategize how they plan to get their hands on the wall first.
And
Outside smoke, lane number 6 from St. Lucia.
Carrick.
Carrick Charles looking to do it all by himself. But he's dragging along his teammate, Ethan Hazel, also from St. Lucia. We have a tight one for third. In lane number 2, Jacob Collymore. Just ahead, slightly edging, Seth Byron from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And in the back, we have Genevieve Benoit of Grenada and Ruben Edwards of Antigua. But at the moment, it's Carrick Charles.
Carrick is coming into his first 200 here at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center. Carrick flips first at the 200, halfway through the race, but it's not over yet.
A lot of action still left, a lot can change.
These are the final 3 heats of the boys 9 and over. So this is when it starts to get active. This is when we start to see, you know, the
possible medalists.
And the crowd is doing its part, supporting each team. Encourage your families, if you're here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to come out and support the development of sports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Your ticket purchase goes directly towards these athletes' development, and we can't take that for granted. Every micro make a muckle. Every micro make a muckle.
Hear that horn. Hear that horn.
It's live, it's live. So we have Carrick, who still continues to lead here in heat 9 of the boys 9 and over 400 meter freestyle. Carrick is followed closely in lane 2 by Jacob Collymore, whose sister is an Olympian as well, Tilly.
Right.
So we saw her in the girls 9 and over, so that's Tilly's brother there, and Jacob is now started to edge him.
And he's just 13 years old.
13 years old, the youngest in this field of athletes right now. Jacob is starting to take over, and he's followed by Ruben Edwards
Ruben,
from
who's
Antigua.
also in the same age category.
Age group, so they will be competing for points. So you will hear the crowd start to cheer on Grenada and Antigua.
Both of these, you can tell they want that
those
9 points.
You want those points. There is only one more 13 to 14 in the race after this.
And that's his and
So
Gabriel, the
let's
Vincent.
listen to this crowd. Bring them home.
And it seems like there's a habit of miscounting because Collymore seems to be a bit confused as to.
And I think that is Antigua's Ruben Edwards taking it from Jacob Collymore.
You see, this race was a testament to being aware of where you are in a race. Correct. Collymore had the lead, but it didn't seem like he was aware of whether he was about to finish the race or he still had maybe 50 meters left.
Correct.
And with that,
listen to the crowd, listen to ANT's chant.
ANT, ANT. Wow. Look at that.
Now we have 2 more heats to go in this morning session on the first day of the OECS Swimming Championships. Heat 10 of 11, the big boys. Now in lane 1, we have from Antigua, Neil Sherwin. In lane 2, Manav Cindy from Antigua as well. In lane 3, we have St. Vincent's very own Kenali Allen. In lane 4, we have also Brandon George from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Then in lane 5, we have Jai Cindy from Antigua. And lane 6, St. Vincent's Hazen Gabriel. So we have a strong Vinci representation here, and they starting the race off with confidence.
Yes, confidence. They want to show out for their home crowd.
And like we said, we as swimmers, and I keep saying we because I just feel like if we in it, but
Yeah.
these swimmers are feeding off of the energy, which is why we encourage persons, please come out tonight, 5 p.m. We need to make this place shake so that the athletes can put their best foot forward. It's a very small facility, so you feel in every
Yes,
noise.
very intimate setting, and that's better. That's the nature of OECS swimming in general. It's usually very, very intimate and very loud and very patriotic. Everyone here representing in their colors, waving their flags,
All the
ringing their
flags
bells,
out.
pots, whatever they can bring.
Soca in the background, everybody just jiggy vibing. Like this
The
is
culture
what
is
we
here.
are about. Like this is sports in the Caribbean and the West Indians.
We
Everybody
do
does
sports
party like
differently.
we. So
We just party normal, that's what they say, and
Yeah.
Vinci to the moon, bring out your numbers, come out in your numbers, and show them why we don't party normal.
show them.
But as it is, as we just finished the first 100 meters, it's Brandon George and Canali Allen going out, taking the heat.
Those are our two Vincentians leading right now, but they followed closely by Jaya Cindy and Hazen Gabriel, who's also from St. Vincent. And these swimmers continue to remain slightly even going into the turn. At 200
meters.
It's tight at the halfway between Antigua, St. Vincent. This is when we need that Vinci energy. This is when we need people, because it hurts, It hurts, bro. So at that point,
You need the
digging in.
support.
And in order to dig in, you need that
You
energy.
need to be hearing your crowd pushing you on.
Bring your bells, bring your horns, bring your pot spoon, your pot cover, bring everything. Everything is allowed. Pay a small fee, $10 at the gate for adults, I think $5 at the gate for kids. On a Friday evening, beautiful view, opening ceremony, entertainment to come this evening.
As you can see on the outer lanes, he is on Gabriel and Jai Cindy from Antigua, along with Canali Allen. They're the ones that take over the race, the leadership positions of the race.
Now they flip at the 300 mark, 100 left to go. This is when we bring them home. This is when we want to hear. We want to hear everything.
And it's important to remember here, son, is the last 30 to 14 member left in these 9 and over 400 meters.
So a potential medal here for Hazen Gabriel of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If he can bring it home faster than the two other 13 to 14s that competed in the previous heat.
Exactly. Jai Cindy in his first year, 15 to 17, trying to also take the heat. But as you can see in lane 1, another Antiguan, fellow Antiguan making a move here. Mr. Sherwin, Neil.
Listen to that crowd. And we could go up some decibels. We still have some room to go up some decibels. I want to see this roof shaking tonight.
Look at Hazen.
Hazen now with that leg kick. Look at Hazen bringing it home. That energy I'm talking about.
That is what we need.
That is how you close. And Hazen takes it in 4:26.18. A huge PB for Hazen Gabriel.
Taking that heat.
And I would like to unofficially say I think that's faster than the last heat, so that might be a gold medal for Hazen. We will get confirmation on that, but great swimming from the boys. And we bring home each one of them. Second, we had lane 1. Second we had lane 1, yes. And
Yes,
then
lane
lane
1.
5 took
Lane 1, we had
third.
Neil in second position, and in third position from lane 5, another Antigua and his fellow teammate, Jai Cindy. We're now moving on to the final heat,
Drum
where we
roll.
have our Olympians.
Drum roll, please.
Drum
This
roll.
is the best of the best
Big
in
boys.
the Caribbean right now.
Olympians.
And they're off. In lane 1, we have Jan Zadad from Antigua. In lane 2, we have DeAndre Blanchard from St. Lucia. In lane 3, we have Tokyo Olympian Stefano Mitchell from Antigua. In lane 4, we have Paris Olympian Zachary Gresham from Grenada. And in lane 5, we have our very own Vinci Olympian Alexander Joachim. In lane 5 and lane 6, we have Nathan Fletcher from Grenada. So 3, 4, and 5 Olympians right now, and so much more of this race to go.
Yep. But taking the early lead. One of the youngest in the field, well, not as young as Nathan Fletcher, but DeAndre Blanchard now stepping into the 18 and over category and trying to make a statement in his first race.
So lane 1 to lane 5 are all in the 18 and over category. So we will see who deems worthy of the medals in that age category.
Exactly.
And Nathan Fletcher is the lone representative of the 15 to 17 age group. So DeAndre is commanding this first few lengths. Now this is the calm before the storm, because I promise you this is not this is
not necessarily a reflection.
This is how we pace the beginning of the races.
Exactly.
You know, you
have
don't want to put too much. This is 150 they're at right now. Now we see Stefano Mitchell,
Tokyo Olympian,
one of the top swimmers in the Eastern Caribbean and the Caribbean region on a whole. You know, Steph represents as a sprinter, but he is so adaptable. His aerobic capacity is huge.
enables him to.
So it's very, very. It's a blessing to be able to bring this to our audience. We want to show you guys the respect that sports and swimming deserves, and I think sports is something that we want to continue to push for feelings like this. It's all about the energy, and energy runs the world. So DeAndre continues to lead, coming up to the 200-meter mark. Oh, no, they flip for 200, so this is the 250 mark.
As it is right now, it's St. Lucia, Antigua, followed by Grenada, and then St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Literally in a line.
And each of them in this race knows how much these points value, because it comes down to the wire. Probably
right
the last relay on Sunday will determine who wins this OECS Swimming Championship. So it just builds up.
That's how close it gets. If you can remember from last year, it ended initially with a tie between Antigua and Grenada, and the relays had a big part to play.
Correct.
In that.
So relays tonight, come out if you're on the ground, tune in to the live, bookmark this live, bookmark VC3, whoever else is broadcasting as well. Let's continue to support. We need the more viewers, the more spectators here in person. All of this paves a way forward for these athletes to grow their potential, because as athletes you put in so much hard work behind the scenes that all you need is that tipping point for persons to say, you know what, let's invest in this potential, and let's do this together. Because everybody benefits. Corporate partners on board. We have Flow with their branding on the side. We have Instacash. You know, we have BOSVG partnering, NLA partnering. We have Flow. So corporate partners see their brand amplified, and the more audience that we get, the more persons that want to be involved in those businesses. And now we're starting to see that race building up, because DeAndre is bringing it in. Zachary Gresham has taken out Stefano Mitchell, and DeAndre Blanchard takes the goals. Zachary Gresham in second and Stefano Mitchell in third.
Some very fast swimming.
Some very fast swimming indeed.
4:10 to take the top spot.
That was a very confident swim from DeAndre. He led from start to finish. He led from start to finish.
And it didn't seem like he had to put too much effort in to finish there in the top spot.
Big points for St. Lucia in the 400-meter freestyle, and we have lane 1 bringing it in, Zan Jardad. Then we have Nathan Fletcher in lane 6 finishing 5th, and bringing the field together is Alexander Joachim in lane 5. So that brings a conclusion to the final heat of the morning session of the OECS Swimming Championships. This is day 1 of the championships here in St. Vincent the Grenadines. Please show out, share the live, tune in 5 p.m. The opening ceremony is tonight. We have the 100 breast, the 100 back, so shorter races, more excitement, more activity. Bring your pot spoon, bring your cowbell, bring your horn, and we hope to see.
And you also have the 25 breast and 25 back for the 8 and under category. So
correct.
A lot of action, and you have the relays. I mean, you can't forget the relays. Relays, everybody loves a good relay.
That's true. So the key is to just, so we would just want to continue encouraging everyone, and we want to bring as much support out tonight. Like I said, tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for children. And now we bring you back to our poolside broadcast lead, Crystal. So encouraging as much participation as possible. This evening, share the live, come out, support. There is a bar, there is entertainment. We have some of the top performances from musical artists tonight here at the Shrewsbury Aquatic Center on the land of the blessed. And now we go poolside with Crystal, who is with our SVGOC president.
And Mr. Stephen Joachim, he's the president of the Olympic Association.
Olympic Committee.
Olympic Committee, my apologies, and the president of the Swimming Federation.
Got it there, you're good, you got it right.
I got it. Yeah. How does it feel being present? You wear so many caps. Father to a swimmer, president, and so on. How does it feel?
It's a lot of fun on days like today. You can see people having a great time. More importantly, the kids are having a great time. And it'll be a lot more fun. Today was the hardest part because it's the longest races. After today, we're down to the 400 meters of the longest race. It's 16 laps of the pool. It's been a lot of fun, and everybody's having a good time so far. And it always rains for OECS, so I'm hoping that I'm wrong this year and it does not rain, but we'll see.
I'll cross my fingers just
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Okay, let's see if you have any influence with whoever decides on the rain.
Hopefully. I noticed that not only were you reading out the swimmers,
yes,
but you were on the sideline cheering and so on.
I'm not supposed to do that, huh?
Oh,
the referee might kick me out for doing that. You're not supposed to cheer on your country and your swimmers. You're supposed to be, but I'm not an official, right? I'm not judging. So no, I love, swimming has been great to a lot of young kids. Swimming is an absolutely amazing sport in that if you look at swimming all over the world almost, you see amazing academics going together with terrific swimming. And there are very good reasons for that. Swimming demands a lot of training and intensity at a very young age. My kids started swimming at 3-4 years old. Most of these competitive kids here started at 3-4-5 years old. We have a youngster here named Zane Gabriel. He's now 6. This is his second OECS swimming in 8 and under. He's going to be a terrific swimmer. His brother Hazen just did very well there also. Swimming is a wonderful thing. It teaches you discipline, hard work. These kids are training a minimum of 2 hours every day, 6 days a week. It's a lot of work. And on top of that, they got to go home and do their school work. Up above you doing our commentary up there, you saw Shane Cadogan and Nicholas Sylvester, 2 of our former Olympians. Right? Nick is an amazing human being. Nick's family lives down in Kittel's. Nick would get up at 4:30 in the morning when he was younger, not anymore. He'd come up here and train and work really hard and go to school for 8 o'clock in the morning and came back here in the afternoon again. it takes a lot of dedication and hard work, and you got to fit your schoolwork into that. So this is why I think last year's common entrance or the year before, 6 of the top 10 people in common entrance were swimmers and family of swimmers. It's an amazing, amazing sport. That's why you, people with young children, not pointing at anybody, with 4 or 5-year-old children, need to get your children swimming. It's a great thing, but it takes a lot of commitment from the parents to it. It's a lot of fun.
Most definitely. You've answered so many questions with that response there. I want to thank you so much for your time.
No problem, thank
and
you.
continue being Stephen Joachim.
You take care, darling. We'll see you later on this afternoon, hopefully. Young fella.
What time are we
When,
starting
when
this
I
afternoon?
first knew him, he didn't have all, the guy behind the camera.
Oh,
he didn't
okay.
have all these gray hairs, you know. That was a long time ago. And now soon he'll be looking like me, an old gray man. This afternoon we start at 3:30 is the warm up. The racing starts at 5. We have the opening ceremony, hopefully around 7:15, and then the relays, and the relays are the most exciting part of swimming. It's so much fun, and that'll finish probably about 8:20, 8:30 tonight. Assuming we don't have any more electrical glitches. Hopefully not. Keep fingers crossed. Thank you.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. My
All right,
pleasure.
Take
Take
care.
care.
All right, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining the live. Once again, we sincerely apologize about the earlier glitch. Sometimes you just can't control certain things, and when electricity goes, then you know what happens. My name is Crystal. Stay tuned for recommencement this afternoon at 5 o'clock on VC3 TV. Take care.